Let's talk about isolation, socialization. This is so freaking hard. Like when everyone knows you as a certain type of person, particularly people who go through chronic fatigue syndrome and the like, they're so opposite of lazy, it's not funny. They're everything to everyone. They're overly nice. They're people pleasers. Not always, but a lot of the time. They're just good people, but they want to get the most out of life. And so their inner circle or people in their family, friend circle, know them as the person with heaps of energy. They're always go, go, go. Maybe it's super mom or superman. And they're doing so much. And all of a sudden, when they can't do what they once were able to do, or they can't be who they once were able to be, shit hits the fan, right? Family and friends, what's wrong with you? Why are you not talking to me anymore? Why are you canceling on me last minute? Why are you not responding to my messages? And here you are just trying to survive, and your friends and family just don't get it. Hello and welcome to another episode of the CFS Health Recovery Podcast, where today we're going to talk about socializing and isolation when it comes to chronic fatigue syndrome. But if we go a little bit deeper, really what we're talking about is lack of understanding. And you might be at home feeling like you're misunderstood. Maybe your family and friends don't really understand what you're going through, and you really want to convince them that you're unwell, right? That you're not lying, that you're not making this up, that you're not making excuses, and that's absolutely valid. So we're going to dive right into that. We've got Ash Ward here, General Manager of CFS Health. She's part of the CFS Health world and has been for a long time, and she gets to see people like you go through recovery every single day and hear and see these types of struggles. So yeah, welcome Ash, good to see you.
Thanks, always great to be here.
Yeah, as always. Just quickly, before we do that, there's a little announcement for you guys. Right now, we are about to open the doors to our famous short course called Foundations by CFS Health. It's a 30-day short course program where we'll take you by the hand and literally help you find and implement your baseline so you can stop pushing and crashing, gain energy and consistency, and ultimately start to make progress. So if you're new to our world, or you're sick of pushing and crashing, you keep going around in circles, you don't have a solid baseline, you're kind of just guessing with everything, Foundations is a perfect entry starting point for you in terms of getting a clear path for your recovery, so you can get healthy and start living again. Ash, is there anything you want to add to that?
Just that I think it's just such a wonderful place to start. You know, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling confused, if you don't know where to go, if you don't know how to start, if you've tried a million things, if you've spent a lot of money, if you're taking lots of supplements and you've seen lots of doctors, like this is just such a it's the first place to start. You know, if you're coming into CFS Health's world, you know, if you're unsure and it provides such wonderful trainings to get you started in the right direction. I love this program. It's so popular, but I just think it's just such a wonderful short course to really get you going. Yeah,
the great thing is you're not left on your own either. You're going to get support and coaching throughout your time with us in those 30 days. I'm going to be in there with you. We've got some other expert health coaches in there with you as well. There's accountability. There's a private exclusive community where you get to hang out and chat with other amazing people on the road to recovery. And ultimately, you know, you're going to save heaps of time because you're not going to have all the guesswork, because we're going to give you every single training you need to get your baseline straight away. You're going to save heaps of money. The amount of people that have spent literally tens of thousands of dollars on stuff that hasn't worked, and then, you know, for a small investment, certainly nowhere near $30,000, you're going to start to get what you need, and then build momentum faster. You know, getting help and guidance from people who understand what you're going through, but also know what it's like to get to the other end is invaluable. So can't wait to see you there. There is a wait list. I think we've got 1,500 people on that wait list right now. So if you want to be the first to know about the opening of Foundations before it goes live, find the Foundations wait list. It'll be either on our website or on a link on this page somewhere. Make sure you put your details in there, and we will notify you as soon as the doors are open, and all the details will be included in that too. Let's talk about isolation, socialization. This is so freaking hard. Like, when everyone knows you as a certain type of person, particularly people who go through chronic fatigue syndrome and the like, they're so opposite of lazy, it's not funny. They're everything, basically. They're everything to everyone. They're overly nice. They're people pleasers. Not always, but a lot of the time. They're just good people, but they want to get the most out of life. And so their inner circle or people in their family and friend circle know them as the person with heaps of energy. Yeah, they're always go, go, go. Maybe it's super mom or superman. They're doing so much. And all of a sudden, when they can't do what they once were able to do, or they can't be who they once were able to be, shit hits the fan, right? Family and friends, what's wrong with you? Why are you not talking to me anymore? Why are you cancelling on me last minute? Why are you not responding to my messages? And here you are just trying to survive, and your friends and family just don't get it. Some do, which is great. It's such a beautiful thing when family members and loved ones really sit down and at least try to understand you. But for the most part, you're going to be misunderstood. And so you might be feeling like kind of like thrown to the wolves almost. You know, you're just like, see ya. And this is where a lot of breakdowns happen in terms of friendships and family dynamics starts to change, because a lot of people feel abandoned. I don't know what you see, Ash, inside, you know, what's going on in the community, but what's your take on it?
Yeah, well, obviously I see it, you know, in terms of what our members share with us, but I also see it out in the real world too. You know, I've spoken to parents of kids who have joined, you know, our program, and you know, we have the age in our program is from 8 years old up to 87. So it's and everyone in between.
Yep.
And I've spoken to parents out in the world who have a teenager who's going through chronic fatigue syndrome, who has lost all their friends at school because they can't go to school and their social networks are closing down, who are feeling incredibly isolated because, you know, their friends are off doing fun things. And so it's not only adults that are experiencing this social isolation, of course, it's kids as well, teenagers, young adults. It's everybody. I have also, you know, I've also witnessed it with, you know, being in conversation with someone who might have a colleague at work who has chronic fatigue syndrome. And the person I might be talking to hasn't experienced it before. And I've heard their take on it, which is some of the things that you shared. Like, they're fine, you know, like, oh, they're just like,
they're late.
You know, they have to have all these days off. Like, I think are they making it up? Is it, you know, and so I've been part of lots of conversations from both sides, inside our membership, outside on the streets. And so it is an incredibly challenging thing to be navigating when you've gone from, you know, perhaps quite a social life, or even, you know, it doesn't mean to say that you were overly social, but just, you know, being actualized, to now that changing and looking different. I see the struggles on both sides, you know, of the people going through it, as well as, you know, the people around who can't quite understand either of what's going on with their friend or family member and not being able to fully understand it.
I want to give some really hard-hitting practical advice for this one, so I can keep it short and precise for you. Bang on, Ash. Everything you said, spot on. There's two sides to the coin, you know. But the fastest way to move through this is to actually not focus on trying to get people to understand you. It's so hard to probably hear that for some of you, because you just need someone to understand. He needs to understand me. I remember years ago, I was on a phone call with a lady, and we had a great conversation, about 45 minutes, and she knew exactly what she needed to do to get better. We talked about baseline, putting all the pieces to the puzzle for her, restorative movement, getting her life back. And then right at the end, she goes, there's only one thing. And I said, what's that? And she goes, my husband needs to understand me for me to get better. And I was like, oh, wow, that's not good. That's not good at all. And I said, really? And I said, tell me more. And she said, he doesn't understand me. And until he understands me, I'm not going to be able to get better. And I said, and you know, obviously I put my coach's hat on, and I said, well, you have two choices. You can be at the mercy of the understanding of your husband, whether he believes you or not, right? So you could be waiting 70 more years until he understands you, right? And to be fair, anyone who doesn't have chronic fatigue syndrome, it's going to be very hard to understand someone who does have it, right? If you've never experienced it. Or I said, you don't have to believe that, right? Could you just get better regardless of what your husband thinks? Do you think that's a possibility? Oh, well, I would be really nice if he understood. I know it would be nice, but I've seen thousands of people get better, and a lot of their friends and families don't believe them or understand them, right? Particularly understand. Like, it's pretty unfair to say, you need to understand my pair of shoes right now. You could jump into my pair of shoes and feel what I'm feeling. it's really unfair to put someone in that position. So the fastest way to literally start recovering is by not focusing on trying to get everybody to understand you. Then you see these people on the internet, and it's okay if that's what they want to choose and they're happy with that choice, but they're campaigning to be understood when no one around them can really truly understand anyway. So it's like this kind of fight in society that they'll never win. It's sad, and I understand why it's important to try and get that understanding. There's a difference between understanding and awareness. I think awareness is good, right? Campaigning for awareness is useful. But when you're trying to campaign to be fully understood, it's a lot of wasted energy that's just not useful. And so, like I said, take this from someone who's literally worked with thousands of people, and particularly that story about the lady who was like, I just need my husband to understand me. That's a luxury. Like, if you get that, amazing. If your husband gets you and is supportive, or your wife or your parent or your loved one, and they are with you, that's all you can ask for, right? If they're just by your side riding this wave that you're on, that is, you should say thank you right now. Send them a text message right now and say, thanks for riding this wave with me. I appreciate you. But don't ever try and make someone understand your situation when they physically and emotionally can't. Right? It's impossible. Instead, imagine if you rallied up all that energy that you spend on that and spend it on you. And I've got 2 cards here that literally came up. Number 1, this is one of our quote cards from Sever's Health. What we put our attention on grows. What we put our attention on grows. So if we're still trying to, put our attention on everybody trying to understand me, where's all the energy for your recovery? You don't have any. And people are wondering why they're not getting better, because they're spending all their energy credits on things that don't move the needle forwards for their recovery. What ties into that is to make yourself the number 1 priority. Now imagine if you had and utilized all that energy that you do have to making yourself a number 1 priority and being fully committed to you and the change that you want to create. Like, how much more that would be more useful for you than externally trying to get everybody else to understand you. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's one that literally will change your life. It'll change your life. Like, it'll change your freaking life.
Absolutely. And we all want to be understood, right?
Yeah.
We all would love if every single person around us could understand exactly the hardships that we're going on, the struggles that we're feeling, how we're feeling when things are really tough. We all just want to be fully understood, but it's getting to that point where it's like, it's impossible. Like you said, you can be going, you're riding the wave of life with other people, but it's about getting so, understanding yourself. It's getting to that point and putting your energy into your recovery, like you said, Toby. But I think beneath it is that we want to be understood, but also we want people to believe us. Those going through chronic illness, it's like, I want to be understood because I want people to believe that I'm not making this up. Like, this is real for me. And that's where community for people who are going through it is so important, because, you come into the CFS health spaces and you don't need to be, you're instantly understood by us. We get it. You don't
need to explain yourself, exactly. And that's so freeing.
You don't need to try and get people to believe you, because we do straight away as soon as you come in our doors. So it is a hard pill to swallow, but it's life changing. It's what will get you to recovery if you can move past that needing of people to believe and understand you, and just focus on your health and move forward from there.
One of my mentors, Craig Harper, used to say to me all the time, control your controllables and what are your non-negotiables. And I look at everything as an investment, right? So, and not transactional investment, just like for time and energy, like what do I get back out of it? And particularly when I was going through recovery, when I was a teenager, I was so committed to investing only the energy that I had on things that would give me a return of investment, right? So like any time spent trying to convince someone was a wasted energy, because it didn't matter. Like all it mattered was me getting better. So I'm not going to try and spend any energy on anything else but that. I was so freaking committed. You should have seen my wall. I had printouts of quotes and all these different things to remind me of how to stay focused and committed to where I was going and what I wanted. And yeah, it's like is investing that amount of energy into something, is it useful or not? And you'll know the answer. And just literally just invest all your energy and resources in things that move you forwards to where you want to go. Because otherwise it's just stuck energy and you're just draining your reserves that you either...
And you'll stay stuck.
Yeah, you'll stay stuck. And we see it all the time. People on the internet, really seeking validation, and when they're never going to get it, they're preaching to themselves. And it's a shame because they're good people and deep down they do want to get better. But being heard, understood is more important than getting better right now. And so knowing that difference for you as an individual and going, well, what is more important to me? Like I said, awareness is great. I'm all for great awareness. I really appreciate everyone who is campaigning awareness around the world. The more we can talk about it, the better it is for everybody. But there's a point where it's not about that. It's about you just getting better. And that's when things will start, taking off.
Powerful.
Very interesting. Just know if you are at home right now and you're feeling isolated and alone, just know that's okay. It is a lonely journey sometimes. But as Ash said, you can surround yourself with great people. We have a free community, obviously our free Facebook group. There's thousands and thousands of people in there. Or if you want, you can get even more committed and jump into one of our, our courses or program, the mentorship recovery, and be surrounded by people who are fully committed and working on their recovery. There's something different about that. You get to learn from people who are inspired and moving in the direction that you want to go. And you're just understood, Yeah. And I think it is nice. It's, like I said, it's a luxury. If you're understood, great. Take it. Say thank you and move forwards. But if you're not, don't beat yourself up and, everyone's just doing...
Don't let it hold you back.
Exactly. Don't let it hold you back. Yeah. Thanks, Ash. You're a legend. Love these chats. If this was helpful,
I love them too.
Leave a like, leave a comment below. Let us know what was most helpful for you, and we're sending you love no matter where you're at in your recovery. We want the best for you. Big love.
See you all.